All right. So this week, the Grammys happened. 63rd Annual Grammys celebration, the biggest night in music. And it was different this year, obviously, with the whole coronavirus pandemic and quarantining and all that good stuff that we've been doing for literally a year, but it feels like forever. And they had to do performances a little bit different this year. So Andrea Nastri is here, and we are going to talk about the Grammy performances. Right, Andrea?
The Grammys. Yes, I'm so excited. Thanks for having me, David.
Of course. I'm so happy that you're here. I feel like you're definitely one of the biggest connoisseurs of pop culture that I know these days. Would you agree with that?
I love it. I love Twitter. That's the thing. Like I just love Twitter and it's all over Twitter, you know?
Like when I was watching the show too, I'd always go on Twitter in between like the commercials just to see what people are saying and like some of the bigger companies and music industry names like iHeart and like Spotify or VH1, just seeing what they're highlighting and what they're talking about, but also what the fans are talking about.
I mean, the fandoms are just that's why the music exists, is me tweeting about Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, for sure. And she was one of the performers last night, and congrats to her too for winning album of the year for what, the third year in a row now? It was like the third
The
year or
third time she's won it, not in a
that's
row,
what
but
that's
she
what it
was the
was.
first female to ever do that.
Yes, which is literally like a huge accomplishment. She wasn't the only one that made big accomplishments last night. A lot of other women accomplished some big things, but we're not going to get too much into that. But let's talk about the performances. Like I said, we can start with Taylor Swift because we're on the topic of her. She performed two
A
songs back to
medley.
back.
A
Yes, a
medley.
medley. And Andrea, you can take it away on Taylor Swift because you are one of the biggest Swifties I also know. So, what do we
Well,
think of
I just
hers?
wanted to note that if you're watching this visual, my record machine is behind me and I have the record of the year vinyl in my hands. I just wanted that to make an appearance in this podcast.
Beautiful.
So yeah, Taylor, it was very anticipated. We knew that her two producers, Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff, were going to be featured in the performance. She didn't reveal how, but it was said before that the producers were going to be involved. And I love Jack and Aaron. So I was super hyped. I feel like it's important to mention I'm like a really, really big Swiftie. Like I'm obsessed. So I was so excited for the show. She was nominated for 6. She only went home with 1, the biggest one. But everyone was like, what the heck is she going to sing?
Hmm.
Like, she put out so much music this past year. So she had so much, to put out. So what's she going to sing? And she ended up doing a medley of 3 of her songs. It was Cardigan, which was nominated a couple times last night, which went into August, which is my favorite song off of Folklore. So I cried a lot.
Not afraid to admit it. Not afraid to admit it.
There's videos of it on my YouTube channel. It's a
Yeah.
hot mess, but I'm proud of it. And then she went into Willow, which is her single off of her more recent album, Evermore. It was just, I don't know how you felt, David, but I felt like it was magical. Like it was just beautiful, and the dress was beautiful, the set was beautiful. I thought the 3 of them sounded so just they're so talented.
Hmm.
I know I'm biased in this one, but I was just really impressed.
Well, like from watching it, I definitely thought it was a change of pace throughout the night because I think, yeah, before her, I have the list written down in front of me. Before her, it was Silk Sonic, which is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak's new duo name. And then actually right after Taylor Swift, it went into a string of tribute performances. So hers kind of was very, like you said, I think it was very like melodic and it was very like soft and very cozy. I thought the set was really cute. How she did like the little I first saw it and I go, "Oh, it looks like a fairy house." Like it was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
she very much tried to do what she said in her acceptance speech for album of the year, which was step into that fairy tale world that she created or that fantasy world that she created. And I think she did that with her performance.
I think so too. Yeah. And she always jokes. She's like, folklorians are fairies in the woods. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That was what that performance was. So,
Mhm.
but I totally agree with you. I don't really know the order of how you want to do things, but Harry Styles opened. Can I
Mhm.
talk about that?
Yeah, I was literally gonna say we can go back and talk about him because he obviously, like you said, opened.
Yeah, and I love Harry like everyone else. But I don't want to upset anyone and I'm not hating, but I just felt like his performance wasn't Grammy level.
Mm.
Like, I think it was the set. I don't know if that has to do with budget or COVID,
Mhm.
I don't know. I just felt like you're opening the Grammys. Like, I have in my notes, it kind of felt like an SNL performance.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I don't want to be mean. but
No, no, no. Like, opinions matter. Opinions matter.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I kind of felt the same way. Like,
Okay.
I had turned it on and I started watching it, and then I walked away because I was making something to drink, and I came back and I was like, oh, he took his scarf off. That's it. Like, it was very much
Yeah.
like I felt like what you were alluding at, Andrea. Like, you're opening the Grammys, and I felt like the energy just wasn't there. I feel like the opening slot is arguably the most important because that's the one that's gonna like, pun intended, set the stage for the rest of the show.
Yeah, and then it went into Billy, which was also really like quiet and calm. And I was like, what?
Hmm.
Like, I am hyped. My energy is through the
Yeah.
roof. And like, this is what I'm watching. Like,
Yeah, I
I
think it
don't
was
know. It
like
was just,
it wasn't matching as well as what people would have expected the Grammys to start off as. The Billie performance I thought it was good because I like Billie and I like what she can do just with her voice and with her sound in general. I think it was kind of neat to do it a little bit more low key and to not do something completely crazy or like.
but see her, she felt Grammy worthy. Like
Mhm.
this, I guess the set kind of like played into me not really loving Harry's performance as much as I wish I did. Like she was standing on that car and her brother was there and it was just
Mm.
the effect was there, the aesthetic was there, so I wasn't really that bored watching it. And like
Mhm.
you said, she's just her vocals are so good.
Yeah, she sounds exactly the same live as she does on record. And talking about like the sets, they did something, obviously they had to do a lot of things different, but they put all of the different performers in that first half in like the one big room and they kind of were all like spread out around and they kind of highlighted the different nominees for record of the year throughout the night too and all those almost I think almost every single one of those people performed as well. So that was kind of cool how they tried I think they did a good job at making it seem as normal as possible because obviously everything is different right now. I don't know, what did you think? I felt like they did a pretty good job making it flow and like this just like the performances in general kind of have something real to them.
I've watched all the award shows this year that are music related, and some of them just wasn't it. Um, Again, it's like you got to give them the benefit of the doubt because they like are all trying, and there's different regulations at different times they have to follow, and I kind of think like props to them for trying.
Mhm.
But I do feel like the Grammys did a really good job. I didn't notice any like technical issues. It didn't feel like that awkward to me at any points. Like, I mean, obviously they're all masked and they're all super spread out, and like it's like coming on and off the stage is awkward. But if that's the most awkward thing, I mean, I think they did a pretty good job. And I don't know. I just hope they do it safely. We don't want any super spreaders. Yeah.
Yeah, that would very much be unfortunate. I think everyone for the most part did a good job. Even the host, I'm blanking on his name, but he did a really good
Trevor
job at like
Noah.
yes, Trevor Noah, thank you. He did a really good job at like maintaining that sort of persona and maintaining that sort of security that people were following restrictions and doing things as they should.
Well, you said that huge thing about it in the beginning, which I thought I don't know. As someone who's like super anxious about the virus, I'm like, okay, I can like sit and relax. Like, no, Taylor Swift is safe.
Exactly, exactly. So somebody that I was surprised about, and I didn't really, I've known them, but I haven't followed them until like this past year. They really kind of blew up, and I always forget how to pronounce it, but I think it's Haim or Haim when they performed.
Time, yeah.
Yeah, Haim. I loved their performance. I thought they were so good. They had such good energy. Like they're three sisters from the LA area, I believe, and I think they just like crushed it. Like obviously Harry we kind of said was, like kind of not the greatest opener. Billy was cool, like she kind of carried the torch a little bit higher. But like Haim when they performed, I literally was like, I love this. Like I love them.
Yeah. So I first saw them at the Agganis Arena in Boston, and Lizzo was their opener.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. But they're friends with Taylor, not to bring her up for the millionth time already. But I've been keeping up with them, and yesterday was actually Esty, the blonde one, her birthday. What a birthday present to perform at the
Yeah.
Grammys on your birthday, and they were nominated for album of the year.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I just think they have a really different sound, and they're like, go on their Instagram. Like they're just so cool. Like they just have this whole like confidence thing about them that I just admire so much.
Yeah, and I was reading about them during the show, and they kind of have this, they said they have like this cross section of like older like 70s like pop and like indie rock, but also like 90s R&B. Like they meet in the middle of so many genres, which I think is really cool.
Yes. And I think that's why it's so unique.
Yeah, and like I
Such
said,
a cool sound.
their chemistry as sisters, which is, awesome and like kind of rare to find, I think, these days with groups. Like I feel like working with your siblings can definitely pose a lot of issues, but they seem to make it work.
Yeah, totally.
And then after them was Black Pumas, which was another group that I hadn't really known a whole lot about. And
Me either.
the lead singer, he came out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
I was I was screaming on the couch like what, I was like holy, like who is this guy? Like he was incredible, like in the note he hit at the end where he just like backs off and he's letting his voice just carry. Like my roommate was watching it with me and she goes,
Mhm.
so many people could have messed that up and he just killed it.
I know. And I think that was like back in that little room there, or not little, the room they're in, it seemed like. I don't know. So it was kind of cool seeing like how they did the sets too throughout the night. They like utilized that one space.
Yeah, they transitioned from like person to person, act to act. The first
Hmm.
three were like back to back, and then they kind of, they take their breaks here and there. So they must have rotated the artists out because obviously whenever they presented the awards, the only people that were allowed outside on the stage or on the ground were the people in that category. So they probably had so much behind the scenes stuff going on for like moving people and who could be in
Mm,
this room at this time and stuff. Like
yeah,
crazy, crazy.
it's such a jigsaw puzzle. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was entertaining. Like I don't really know a lot about them, but I mean, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, they gave me a very like bluegrass type sound and
Hmm.
I was really into it to say the least. I was eating that up. That was really good.
Yeah.
Somebody who had, and this is the next performer too, somebody who had just over the top orchestral but like entertaining at the same time was the baby.
Hmm.
He just he was on a whole another level. Like, what did you think of his performance?
I thought it was good. It definitely wasn't like the standout one. What was that one? I guess I'm blanking on it.
He did like with the gospel choir in the background and the girl
Oh,
who had the
yes.
violin.
Hmm.
Anthony Hamilton sang like backup for him. I think he did Rockstar.
Yeah. Okay. It's coming back to me now. So I guess it didn't really stand out that much, but I thought the violin playing was like so interesting and just love a good gospel sound, you know?
Yeah. I think it was
Yeah.
funny that the gospel singers were like basically older women with like, white
Yeah.
hair, and like they were having fun. Like you could just tell. And he's being like overly the top with like being like a conductor and like shaking his hands, like telling them what to do. It was funny, I
It
think.
must be so wild to perform twice because he was with Dua too.
Yeah, let's get into
Like,
duas too, because I'm not a huge fan of her, but I like her. But her performance, I thought it was good. Like she really, I don't remember her ever like putting that much into her performances, but I feel like she really brought it.
oh my God. This was one of the three performances. I was like, this is a big highlight. I thought I don't know if you've seen those videos of her dancing like way back in the day on a stage, but she used to not be a good dancer at all. And people used to like low key make fun of her for it, but she like has clearly taken some dance lessons and learned how to work it. I just thought it was so good. It flowed really well. It was like not so over the top, but her performance was like what stood out. I don't know if that made sense, but like, there wasn't anything like she wasn't levitating in the air like she's done at some other award shows. Like it was just
Hmm.
her and like the music and the dancing and the costumes, and it just stood out so much. I could talk all day about that performance. I thought it was so good.
I think so too. Like I said, I think she brought it. Like you said, she had a couple different costume changes, and each one she looked so good in. She also, I forget,
Mhm.
she won the award for, I think it was best pop vocal performance. Um,
Mhm.
and she was giving me like Cher vibes with like the dark hair, kind of the middle part, and like the sequency
Okay.
dress. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yeah, and her outfit, she looks so good too. Like, and I forget, she's like 24, 25, so she's young and she's
Mhm.
already like she's a global superstar, and she's gonna be that for definitely like years to come.
I think my fascination with her is Future Nostalgia is her sophomore album. And
Mhm.
like that usually like doesn't always do that great. So I feel like if that's doing good, then like this is just the beginning of her
Mhm.
career.
I always
I
say
watched sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I always say like the sophomore album usually determines where the artist's career will go
Mhm.
next. Like if it hits,
Totally.
you're gonna have a good career, like a long career after that.
Do you like her album?
I listened to it and I did like it, but it wasn't an album I could like really get behind, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
for me, I could like listen to it once and kind of be done, because I'm not like a huge fan of hers, but I did like the album.
I love Future Nostalgia. I think it's like such a good pop album. So I think she deserved her award too.
Mhm.
And, she had this concert. It was, I think it was Studio 2054, maybe. It was like some number, but it was this online concert. Did you know about this? She
No,
put
I didn't.
on, and it was so good. They basically rented out a warehouse and like put on this whole concert, and you like bought tickets, and like I don't know, like 5 million people, like some ridiculous number tuned in and watched it, and it was so entertaining. It was like the
Mm.
closest thing I've like had to a concert in the past year, and it was that level the whole time. So next time she goes on tour, everyone get tickets. We're going.
Yeah, she was great, to say the least. It was great. Besides her and Taylor Swift, did you have another performance that you think really stood out to you?
The third one was Megan the Stallion.
Yes.
Um, that was just amazing.
It
I can't even like
was
think of an appropriate adjective.
all you have to know is like the big shoe and the bed that took the size of the stage. It was insane,
Oh my
insane.
god. I I just thought not even that, like her set before Cardi came on was
Oh yeah.
just like her dancing and just the vocals. I mean, I am team Meg the Stallion. I love that girl. I think she is just, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
Oh yeah, like she walked away with 3 Grammys. One was Best New Artist, which is insane. Like, and her reaction every time was so funny. She was like in shock.
One of the funniest moments of the night, I think, was when she accepted the award with Beyonce.
Mm.
Like, imagine winning Best New Artist and then you win another award with Beyonce.
Mhm.
What do you even say? She
Oh
was
my
just like
god, yeah.
fangirling. I was like, yes. Yeah,
And
it
that
was
was
wild.
and that was the album where Beyonce tied the record for most Grammys won, and then not too long after she broke it.
Oh, oh my God. Oh, I cannot believe Beyonce has the most Grammys.
It's
28 Grammys. That is good for her. I love everything about that. I
yeah.
cried. I was like, this is one for the girls.
It was a big night, like, for the ladies. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
women walked away with awards and like the performances as well, including the couple of country performances that there were. There was Mickey Guyton, Miranda Lambert, and Maren Morris with John Mayer, actually, and those were back to back. Those kind of
Mhm.
flowed really well too, and they put them all in that same room where some of the other performances were held, so they kind of went from one to another. What did you think
Yeah.
about any of those performances? Because I know you're also a country girl.
Yeah, I love country music, especially especially the country girlies. So I'm a huge Maren Morris fan. I love Mickey Guyton. Miranda, I'm not too into Miranda, but I still like her. But I just thought I saw a tweet that was like the fact that the Grammys put three country women back to back and a country award show can't even do that.
Mm,
I mean, it's the inequality in the country music world is just so bad. It's just really not there. And I think it was just so cool of the Grammys to kind of like give country women a moment. Also, I think it's important to mention that Mickey Guyton was the first Black female solo country artist to ever perform on the
mm-hmm.
Grammy stage, which is just so wild that that was a first in 2021. But Mickey Guyton is a very up and coming country artist. She also just had a baby and was like up on the stage
Oh, I
doing
didn't
all
know
that.
that. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I think a couple months ago she
Oh,
delivered the
wow.
baby. So yeah, she does it all.
Yeah.
Mickey's our girl. So I was really happy. And she was nominated for I think it was best country song, which was another big deal because she was again the first Black woman solo performance to be nominated in that category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love I loved her performance. Like,
Oh,
I she looked
so good.
good too, like the dress, everything. Like, it was simple, but it was incredible. Like, it was the choir and her just literally belting out her song. And I sat back on the couch and I said, "Yep, that's how you do it." Like, I think for
Yep.
me that's probably arguably my favorite one of the night because it
Hmm.
felt so powerful. And
Yeah.
as what you were saying, Andrea, like all the other things behind her and her career at this point made it even that much better.
Yeah. And I just loved that she sang her song Black Like Me because it's just we need more space for that in mainstream media and I think it was just so it was just so beautiful to watch.
Hmm.
I could cry right now like talking about it.
And I thought like the Grammys was really trying to make it a point
Mhm.
about ending racism in the academy and in the music industry and talking about how open they are as an academy for welcoming people of all different cultures. Like they put their statement out there at some point during the night. I think every year
Mhm.
they try to really show a diverse lineup of performers, but I think this year especially they did it a little bit
Yeah.
more. And I'm
Yeah.
curious because I feel like that's mostly been in response to just some things that have been going on in pop culture.
Mhm.
Like there was the whole Morgan Wallen thing that happened not too long ago. There was also the weekend when he didn't get nominated. He said he's not gonna submit his music any longer to get nominated. So I think the Grammys was trying to really prove something.
Yeah, and I guess what we're kind of saying is like it's kind of hard to know if it's like performative or not. Like are they just doing that cuz like they want to look good, or are they doing it cuz they actually care? I would hope they would actually care
Hmm.
and want to make a difference. I just think big companies like the Grammys have such an opportunity to open doors for artists like Mickey. I think, again, I saw another tweet that was like, country music fans are tweeting, who's Mickey Guyton? It's like, she's been around all this time. It's
Hmm.
like, you just need to open your damn eyes, people. So I don't know. I think it's good that they're doing that. I really do. I wish it happened sooner.
I agree. I agree. I think we always think that these things happen sooner and the conversations are started a little bit earlier. And one artist too that really made a statement with his performance was Lil Baby, how he had
Mm-hmm.
the whole like setup outside. I think it was outside the convention
Yeah.
center, and he had, the actors that were imitating like different riots and protests. That was very reflective
Mm-hmm.
of this past year with Black Lives Matter. And he had two people that did like almost like a spoken word concept. What did you think of
Yes.
that?
Oh my God. I thought like goosebumps head to
Hmm.
toe. It was just so, the words were just so incredible. And it was heavy. It was a heavy performance, I think for everyone. But, I think again, we need more space for stuff like that to reflect on and understand better. So I think it was appropriate and just another great performance of the night.
Absolutely. And that came actually later in the night. He was one of the last people to go on. And something I'm always curious about with the Grammy performances is, staying interested, because obviously they put off the last award, the biggest award, to the very, very end, and it's like, okay, everyone's waiting to see who wins, but at the same time, you have to keep us engaged, and the performers really are important at that, and like keeping the energy up. Do you think from like Lil Baby until like the last couple performances, it was Lil Baby, Doja Cat, BTS, and then Roddy Rich closed out before they announced Record of the Year. Do you think the performances at the end kind of kept that energy up and kept people interested?
So I don't feel like the energy was that high for me at the end. But you also have to think BTS, what they definitely put at the end, because I mean, there's an army of BTS fans, like literally. Um, so I get why they did that. Can we also talk about how it was 3.5 hours long?
It was very
That
long.
I'm sorry, that is just way too long. Like
Hmm.
too much. I mean, who wants to stay up until almost midnight waiting for record of the year when they can look online next year? Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. So maybe they should have shifted around a little more to answer your question.
Yeah, I think that's a fair answer. I did like BTS's performance because you mentioned it.
Uh,
Like it was
yeah.
it was fun to watch. It wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was the greatest one of the night, but it was cool. Like they kind of like recreated the set like somewhere
Hmm.
else, and they had like a bunch of transitions which were really nice, and
I'm
they're
obsessed with
very
that song.
talented. Yeah,
That
Dynamite was
song's
their
so
song.
good.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like they're a very well versed group, I would say. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think their fans were happy that they were nominated. It's another performance. This is what we have to look forward to nowadays. Like I was so hyped for Taylor, and just like see your favorite like up there is fun. So I get why they were last. They've been last at other award shows too. So they want to keep those ratings up.
Yeah, to kind of build the anticipation.
Hmm.
And something that was really funny too, I don't know if you might have caught this because you're obviously always on Twitter, like you admitted. But something that I was so excited and ready to see once I knew it was happening was how Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak were performing, because Bruno Mars had literally put out a statement saying, "Can you help like a suffering musician like let me perform at the Grammys? Like I need money." Like he was not afraid to just say like what he needed, and they let him. Like they had him and Anderson on, and I thought their performance was so funny. It was very like
Mhm,
old school like 70s, like very
mhm.
much how like the song sounds. And it was so funny. Like Anderson .Paak had like the heart-shaped sunglasses
I,
and like
I need those sunglasses.
oh my
um,
god.
I thought they sounded great. I didn't think it stood out to me personally, but it's just that whole thing where he wanted to perform at the Grammys was so weird to me. I was like, you're Bruno Mars. You just put out a song when you haven't put out music in
Mhm.
forever. Like, what? Why are you gonna be on the Grammys?
It
I
really
don't
makes you
know.
question like what has he been doing this whole time, you
Right.
know?
I'm like, Bruno, where you been? Like, I don't know. It was kind of odd to me, but
Yeah.
laugh about it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
He also did the Little Richard tribute, which I thought was really, really cool. Um
hmm
it always upsets me just thinking about how many like great people in the industry are lost every year. Um and the host was saying like, there's a list of over 1,000 or so people that they lost in the past year, and it really is sad. So the tributes can be a little bit like touchy and a little bit sensitive to some people. Like I know I kind of got like emotional watching a few of them. The Little Richard
hmm
one was a little bit more fun. The one that made me like tear up was probably the Kenny Rogers one, which Lionel Richie performed. And at the end, they showed a photo of the two of them together. And
I know that picture. I was like, oh, really? You have to do that?
yeah, I said,
But
and I
it was a
quote,
nice moment.
I said, and I quote, Lionel, get out of here because you're making me sad. Like it was
Yes.
good. It was really, really good. And Lionel
hmm
looks Lionel looked amazing like performing. He has such a good voice and a good presence, and he's obviously
hmm
been doing it for so long.
Yes.
So I think they asked the right person to do it.
I agree. I agree. That was a nice moment.
And then Brandy Charlie performed the John Prine tribute, and she's someone too that I don't really know that much about, so I had to look her up. But I thought her performance was really, really powerful too. Like she said a really nice like short statement at the end, like thanking John for everything that he contributed to like the music industry, and I thought that was really touching as well.
hmm It's nice that they like take that moment, but I agree with you. It kind of it brings down the mood, like
Mhm.
I'm up here and that is down here. Like
Yeah.
so um but I think it's important to acknowledge because, if I was doing all that work, I would want to be acknowledged once I passed, you know what I mean? And I
hmm
think they found really beautiful ways to do that last night.
hmm I really liked too when Brittany Howard and Chris Martin performed, and Brittany Howard like just has one of those voices that you just can't forget.
Mhm. Mhm. So good. It was so good.
Yeah, overall, like I think overall we've established that the performances were pretty good last night. During the Grammys.
That was something, yeah, I guess kind of at the end I felt a little like, all right, when
Yeah,
is it
me too.
over?
Yeah.
But I think overall I was so entertained the whole time. Like there was always something to like look forward to. Like there was always someone exciting coming up. I don't know if it's just cuz it was like a lot of people that I like. Did you feel that way that you were like entertained the whole time?
I think I definitely towards the end was starting to get a little disinterested. That's why I asked about like up until like Lil Baby's performance, like the energy was kind of dying out a little bit. Then I saw like Doja Cat was coming on. I'm like, okay, like I want to see what she does because she's someone who always will take a song that she has and then do like a different arrangement of it each time, and that's kind of what she did. So I think by the time like she came on, I was kind of like, all right, like, that's all who like I really want to see.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting choice to put Taylor in the middle too.
Mm.
Because you got Harry. I don't know. Maybe that's how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, do you think we've kind of talked about the order and stuff too? Is there anyone that you think you would have like switched around or anything?
Mm, maybe put Taylor more towards the end. I don't know. I also wanted to mention on the podcast that I I was disappointed with WAP. I, I don't know if you were.
In terms of what, like the actual performance?
Okay, I support those girls. I support the message of that song. I love the song. But it seemed a little all over the place. And I did a reaction video and like watching it back, I was so distracted by the lip syncing. Like they were
Mm,
so clearly lip syncing. Like at one point, Cardi B hit her mic like on her like mouth, and
mm.
like you didn't hear like it was just I don't know. I don't know if anyone else even noticed that, but it was like so distracting to me. I know it was an iconic performance, but I don't know. And it just, the set, I guess, was cool, but it was kind of like, where are we? Where's the camera? Like, I was a
Mhm.
little lost.
Yeah, it was I would say that, like, I liked it because it was just, like, absurd, like, it was
Yeah.
over the top, to
Hmm.
say the least, but I'm
The
glad you
energy
mentioned
was
that.
there.
Yeah, the energy was there, but I'm glad you
Yeah,
mentioned the lip
totally.
syncing thing because, like, I had the same thought because
Okay.
from her doing so much, moving around and dancing and whatnot, I was like, "There is no way." Like, I'm sorry, Cardi, but, like, there's no way that she was that on point and on key the whole entire time.
Hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if it was like pre-recorded or if it was live and they were like, there was a technical issue. Like, I don't know what was going on. Like, but I don't know. I had really high expectations. Another thing about that performance was Megan's set, again, like I said earlier, loved it. Highlight of the show for me. But like the aesthetic, if you will, didn't like flow into Cardi's set.
Mm.
So I was kind of like, what? And then Megan had like three costume changes, and I was like, what is going on? There's a high heel with money in the shoe.
Yeah. 3 costumes
But
that she did look good in every single
oh,
one, by the way. Like, she
yes.
has an amazing body. But yeah,
Hmm.
I can kinda see your point there. It definitely there was a little bit of disjointment there between the transitions of the sets.
All love for them, though. I mean, I think that was a very successful song this year and deserved to be performed. I think the performance had highlights. Yeah, it just seemed a little messy to me. I was disappointed. But no one come for me.
Yeah. We'll protect you, we'll protect you. It's
Okay,
okay.
thanks. I have
You
my
said you
guard dog over there.
Yeah, you said you liked the song. As long as you like the song.
Oh, how can you not?
Oh my god.
It's
We haven't experienced that song like in large group settings yet, and when that happens, it's going to be embraced like impactful.
it's it's gonna be chaos. And I'm so excited for it.
It's going to be absolute chaos, but like we're ready for it. We're saving up for it. Everyone's ready for it.
Totally. Totally. That and Chromatica.
Yeah, all of the Lady Gaga songs that came
Hmm.
out on that album. That's
Yeah.
definitely like Rain on Me is gonna be a huge club hit.
Totally. Totally, totally, totally. I was really sad. She's filming a movie in Italy right now, so she wasn't there last night. Not that
Mm.
she wasn't nominated in any of the general fields categories, but I love my Lady Gaga. I wish she
Yeah.
performed.
Yeah, she's someone that definitely would not have disappointed.
Oh, no. No.
All right, so who do we think we're gonna do a couple like just random rapid fire questions just to kind of end this whole thing and sum it up. Who do you think
Amazing.
had the best set? Because we talked a lot about the sets. So who do you think really had the best one that went with their performance?
Oh, this is so biased, but Taylor Swift. I don't know. Just that
I had
fairy
a
house.
feeling.
jaw to the floor. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, I had a feeling her set definitely stood out to me too. Um, someone
Who's
who
your
did
favorite? Oh,
I
sorry.
don't know if I had like a favorite, but I liked different like aspects of some people's sets. Like I liked how Billy kind of kept it simple with the car, which was also reflective of the music video for Everything I Wanted. And like for some reason, I don't know why this is coming to my head, probably because it low key scared me, but Post Malone's performance was like very like creepy. Um with like these background singers or actors with like the light on their head and they were dressed in like these really gargantuic robes. Like it was creepy, but like it really made a statement. It was very like melancholy. So for some reason I just wanted to mention that to you because that like stood out to me in my brain for some reason, even though I didn't like thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't one of the best in my opinion, but I was shocked how short it was. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it was like a minute long. It wasn't, but like I was like, that's it? Like I want more. Like
Mm-hmm.
give us a little more
Like
time. He
posty.
was probably under a time limit. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Who do you think sounded the best? Like had the best just delivery, like live vocals?
I think Mickey Guyton.
Mm,
She sounded incredible.
yeah, like I said, she was arguably my favorite performer of the night. But someone else
Hmm.
too, like Bruno Mars, just stood out to me because when he was singing, I go, he has to be lip singing. Like that just sounds too good to be true. And like I was watching his mouth so closely, trying to figure it
Was
out, and
it?
I
We
was
were
like,
watching last night.
was it right? Like, and I was like, he has to be. That's just too good. And same thing, my roommate was watching it. She goes, no, he's definitely not. And I was like, but it sounds so good. Like it feels like it's too good to be true.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I wasn't mad at Cardi for lip syncing either, but they,
Hmm.
they do it all the time on these
Yeah,
award shows. That is not like a secret.
yeah, it's
But yeah, he did
understandable.
sound good. He did sound good.
Yeah, who do you
Just the
think?
vibe.
Oh
So good
yeah.
of that performance. Yeah. Yep.
Now, kind of talking more about like the group performances, who do you think had like the best chemistry or like just the best presence? Because obviously we had like a couple duos in a band. So what about even like you could
Mm,
consider like Billy and Phineas, who technically like performed together, you know?
hmm Maybe Haim, because I mean, they are one of my faves of the night, but I don't know, I guess I was just so excited for them. I was like, yes, like the three sisters are up there doing their thing, like everyone in that room, like just watch them, like watch these girls, like they're good. Um I just think they're so cool. Just what other word is there to describe
Yeah.
them? They just are so cool and confident, and I just love seeing that on the stage.
I'd 100% agree with that. I think, like I said earlier, their energy as sisters and performers just really showed. I do think Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak too had a really smooth thing going on with like their performance. I think for the most part, like everyone kind of worked really well together. I felt like it was a little weird, kind of bringing this up again. Like Maren Morris and John Mayer, like I know John Mayer is like known for his guitar playing and his songwriting and things like that, but he didn't sing or really do anything else. Like, and
Had
Maren
like a
Morris,
quick guitar solo.
yeah, it was a little bit weird. And like Maren Morris performed Bones, which like is such a good song and like it's hers that's kind of really taken off. And like I actually really got into that song and into her because of it. And I don't know, like I felt like did you think it was like a little weird? Like you said, he just did like a very simple like guitar solo.
Why was he there? She doesn't need him there. Give her her moment in her
Right.
red dress.
Yeah.
Sit down, John. Did you feel like that was random?
It felt like I remember seeing it and I was like, "Oh, like that sounds cool." Like I'm curious to see how it plays out, but I was kind of like, "Meh." Like yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of same thing. Like I would never discredit John Mayer. Like he's awesome, whatever, but like I didn't think he needed to be there necessarily.
She could have handled it. My girl Marin was on it. Don't worry, everyone.
She's a great performer too. I remember thinking in the beginning I was like, she doesn't sound as like assertive or like strong live, but then after like the high note in the song came and she started belting, I was like, "Oh, wait. There it is." You know?
Mhm.
Like I was like, "She sounds really good like on record," and I haven't really heard her live, but I was like, "Wait, she actually can sing like really, really well."
She's good live.
Have you seen her?
Um, yeah, at the House of Blues.
Oh.
But I think with Marin, some people don't really know how to like work the area of the stage, if that makes sense. But she
Mhm.
does. She knows how to like fill it up and like entertain you. Not over like fill it up, but like just enough. And
Mhm.
even her like standing in that gown that she was in, like I was still entertained by like her body language and stuff. So again, I was like, why is John Mayer there? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. It's kind of whatever. I gotta let it go.
Yeah, I think kind of on that note too about like somebody using the space is really important when it comes to performances. Um and yeah, like I'm kind of thinking back to how we mentioned Harry earlier, not really like impressing too much. Like maybe if he did have more room, like that could have been something because he didn't really have like a lot going on with his performance. It was very simple. I thought Doja Cat like used her space really well. Like it was like this space kind of theme thing, and she like jumped out of the tank and like came forward. Like she did a whole lot with hers.
I
Billy
feel like
too,
she's
I think
always
moving
like
around.
doing something like that, which is
Mm-hmm.
entertaining to watch and out of the box, you know.
Yeah. Is there somebody that you were really excited to see and they just didn't like live up to your expectations?
Harry.
Yeah, Harry.
There was so much possibility. I need to like ask some of my Harry friends what they thought and like not tell them my opinion.
If you're watching the YouTube video, comment below. What do we think of Harry Styles in his Grammy
hmm
performance? Could he have done better? We want Andrea and I want to know. Like, let us know
I
from the Harry fans.
It's just frustrating because you know he can. You know he has
Mm-hmm.
the budget. You know he's capable. Why did
Oh
he
yeah.
choose? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he looked good. People were gonna watch it regardless. His name was on it. I don't know. Someone explain it to us.
And he performed. What song was it again? Did he do "Adore You" or "Watermelon Sugar"?
Watermelon sugar.
It was okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one. And that song too, he was nominated and won for, so that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he won too that night. So I think that was his first Grammy.
I think so
I
too,
could be wrong.
actually.
Okay, yeah, I think it was. So congrats. Did you notice? I don't know. I don't. Again, I love Harry Styles, but I'm not like obsessed. But did you feel like his acceptance speech was kind of like monotone? Like he wasn't very excited. But I'm a very
Yeah.
excited person, so I feel like if I won, I would be screaming and crying. But he was like, "Oh, thank you so much." Like,
I feel like that's his persona though in general, no?
okay,
Like I feel like he's very just he is probably like one of the coolest cucumbers in the industry right now. Like he is very like just chill. Like I think he's very like calm.
okay, so it is like a personality thing and not an Andrea thing.
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah. I think like you can see the range of emotions and reactions when people get their awards. Like I mentioned earlier, Meg the Stallion was like in shock when she won. Taylor Swift was very, very excited, very jittery, but that's also like her personality. She's very bubbly and very outgoing. Dua Lipa was very like grateful. Beyonce was very, humble as she always is, but always like so like earth-shatteringly quiet. Like I say Beyonce could silence a room just by her being there.
Yeah. And she was shook though. Like
Mm.
Beyonce was like me. Like she really was shook, which was nice. It was nice to see Beyonce so almost like impressed with herself.
Mhm.
Cuz I'm impressed by her every day.
Yeah. It's like it's your turn, B. We're all
Yeah,
happy
yeah.
for you. It's crazy like thinking I probably thought this so many times throughout the course of the night too, like how many of these artists are just so successful already. especially some that are early on in their careers, like Megan and like Billie. And Billie won 2 Grammys, I believe. She won one earlier during the pre-show. So she's already at like 7, I think, because she won 5 last year. And that's just
Last year
like,
was her year.
yeah, like it's insane. Like she's only 19, like 20, and she has like 7 Grammys.
Yeah. And I really think it's important to acknowledge how she handled her acceptance of Record of the Year. If you didn't know, Savage was nominated and didn't win. I thought that was in the bag.
Mm.
So when Billie went up to accept it, she spent a very long time kind of acknowledging Megan and just being like, I don't deserve this. And I feel like Billie always goes up there and is like, what? I don't deserve this. Like, you do deserve it. But I just thought it showed a lot of Billie's maturity that she acknowledged Megan,
Mhm.
and I think that is because Billie has a lot of respect for art and the artist. I loved that. I just loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too, and it was one of the last awards given out too, and just to have that moment where she was like, this is for you, like I support you every single day, like I always like to know what you're up to." And she's like, "You had a year that was untoppable, like nobody can do what you just did." And like you said, she said multiple times, "I don't deserve this. Like this is your award."
Mhm. It was special.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I love same thing. Love the fact that they're both young and they're just,
Mhm.
artists supporting artists. It's incredible.
And women just lifting each other up. Love it. Love to see
Hmm.
it.
One other thing too that we have to touch upon, because we both have experience working with live venues, was the fact that they had people from various live venues help give out the awards, and they were like shedding a light on them. Like I thought that was really well done and really special.
Mhm. I was shocked Boston wasn't one of the locations though. I feel like
Mm,
we're a major city for tours. But I think just as someone who works in that or worked in that, um, it was kind of nice to see this happening all over the country, like to so many places, and how we really need to support these places so they can come back. I just thought that was very creative of them. And really, I feel like the Grammys do that best. Like, music is their focus, like, it's all about the music.
mhm,
And that, I feel like, even with that, it was still like their message was consistent.
mhm. Yeah, I 100% agree. And also doing things like they do the Educator Award and other very special like awards throughout the night.
Hmm.
They really do make it a point that they are all about the music and empowering artists. And I think just adding that extra component of the live entertainment venues was like
Hmm.
the cherry on top.
And music education. They're really big on that.
Yep,
Hmm.
absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you, Andrea. I'm so glad you could join me.
Thanks. Thanks so much for having me. This was it was so nice to like nerd out with someone over all
Oh,
this
yeah.
stuff.
If you ever want anyone to nerd out with music and pop culture, you can
Ugh,
contact Andrea Nastri. Probably just follow her YouTube and see all her amazing videos that she has.
always talking about pop culture, music, all that jazz over there. So thanks so much for having me, David.